Chapter 10. Flight. The escape did not begin with an explosion, nor with the screams of a crowd, but with a silence so terrifying it made Kael's skin crawl, when he realized that the ground beneath his feet was trembling in a steady, dull rhythm, like the heartbeat of some colossal being advancing from far away. He pulled Aaliyah close, one hand resting on the shoulder of her mother, who was gasping behind them, and in that instant Kael understood that the hunt had begun. Not by the orcs, but by those who acted in the name of the Emperor's holy will. There were no prayers anymore, no cries for help, only the heavy tread of metal boots crushing rubble and corpses alike, steady and merciless like an execution march that needed no audience. Adeptus Astartes. Warriors once worshipped as saviors, now nightmares clad in blue-gray ceramite, the scorched, double-headed eagle emblazoned across their chests. They did not run. They did not shout. They advanced like an unbreakable wall, and anything still alive before them was erased with absolute discipline. Kael dragged the mother and child through a narrow fissure between two collapsed towers, his breath coming in ragged gasps, lungs burning as if filled with fire, yet he dared not stop. Behind them, bolt rounds thundered, each dull, hammering report smashing the air apart, and with every shot, a wall or a human body was blown to pieces. They ran through cramped alleys where the stench of dried blood mixed with smoke burned their throats raw. Aaliyah began to falter, her steps unsteady, and Kael lifted her into his arms, even as every stride felt like his spine was about to snap. The mother struggled to keep up, her face ashen, yet her eyes still burned with a fragile resolve, like a candle on the verge of going out but refusing to yield. Then they heard metal scraping against stone right behind them. A space marine had broken from the formation. He did not need to hurry. He only walked. Each step sent tremors through the ground, like blows from a sledgehammer. The gaze behind the opaque visor was cold and indifferent, as if the three of them were nothing more than obstacles to be removed from the line of advance. Kael knew that if the giant caught up, it would end here. They veered sharply through a collapsed passage and burst into an old industrial zone, where rusted conveyor belts and chemical tanks formed a lethal maze. Kael set Aaliyah down behind a fallen wall, motioned for the two of them to hide, then turned back. For the first time in many days, he chose to face death head-on. The Space Marine emerged from the smoke, impossibly tall, his armor scarred yet radiating absolute menace. He raised his bolter, the muzzle pointing straight at Kael. That moment stretched into eternity. Kael lunged aside just as the first round tore through the air, detonating the wall behind him. Concrete shards bit into his back, but he rolled, slid through the rubble, and closed in on the Marine's leg. He had no weapon capable of piercing the armor, only a rusted knife and desperation. When the Space Marine lifted his foot to crush him, Kael hurled himself forward, driving the blade with all his strength into the joint behind the knee, the thinnest point in the armor. Metal screamed, and a roar of fury echoed out. The strike did not kill him, but it was enough to throw the joint out of alignment. The giant staggered, dropping to one knee for a brief instant. That was enough. Kael did not stay to witness the wrath that would follow. He turned and ran like a cornered beast, scooping Aaliyah up, hauling her mother to her feet, and fleeing. They ran until their lungs felt ready to burst, until the steel footsteps behind them could no longer keep pace, until there was nothing left but the pounding of blood in their ears. And then, inside another ruined warehouse, when all three collapsed onto the cold floor, Kael finally allowed himself to gasp for breath, his hands shaking as he braced himself against the ground. That night, by the weak glow of a salvaged power cell, Kael heard a rumor from another group of refugees. A fragile rumor, yet one strong enough to kindle hope. There were evacuation ships, not Imperium vessels, not church ships, but independent craft leaving in the chaos, meant for anyone still alive and daring enough to reach them. A gathering point deep in the old industrial sector, near the edge of the planet. Kael looked at Aaliyah and saw a light in her eyes, something he had not seen in himself for a very long time. And in that moment, he decided. Even if he had to pass straight through hell, even if he had to face horrors far worse than anything he had already seen, he would get them there.